Christmas night, a time when children from all over the world gather around for stories of their family heritage. Heritage is a funny thing, you know. Throughout the years, we find new ways to take it for granted. But what good is one's youthful vigor if not to acknowledge the sacrifices of those who came before, those great leaders who built our schools, our towns? Ah, yes, Pumpamahaya. This town seems as good a place as any to begin our Christmas chronicle. And who's that down there pacing to and fro? Ah, Kevin Veracruz, the town cobbler. One wonders what worries his weary mind at a moment when a man must make serious, necessary, and reasonable considerations in regards to the coming Christmas occasion. And an occasion it was in the little town. The Pumpamahayans had already begun the Christmas festivities. The cobbler's wife, Norma Abigail Veracombe, had just prepared the great fruit cake, for the town had only a century before learned of Neiman's pyramid of Christmas obligation, which clearly states in Section A that the holiday must, quote, begin with the fruitcake, followed by the trivial festivities. These were, of course, handled by the Veracruz children, who, as children so often do, partook in what we consider to be trivial pursuits. Pursuits such as the lighting of the tree, the arrangement of the Christmas symphony, and the preparations for Cranberry Whiskers cornsley. However, such things which would normally worry our cobbler paled in comparison to the news which now writhed inside his head like a torrent of sidebound Milwaukee geese. His Christmas mood, as he so often referred to it, had been irreversibly capsized by what he considered to be mortally obtuse news from the previous morning. What was this news that festered within the poor cobbler's mind? A sudden realization burst into Veracruz's head. He murmured, stunned.
My daughter's getting married tonight. How could such a thing come about? But this, at this rate, surely will be without a great Christmas. And who is this fellow who wants to make my daughter his missus? Dear God, how can I rectify this Christmas? Oh, yes, my Christmas list. I'll wish for something better than this. Corncobby sleigh, grant my wish today. I wish for Christmas to prevail. Oh, great Cranberry Whiskers, make this wedding fail.
For indeed, Veracombe's daughter was soon to be married. But why such fatherly dismay? Why such Christmas angst? Oh, yes, I remember. How could one forget such a catastrophe, especially in a town so small and interlocked in familial and ancestral heritage? The Christmas feast of 1907, only a year prior and greater in importance, Kevin Veracombe had received the award for Best Man in Town for the saving of a small, lean boy named Teague. The festivities were held a fortnight after the trials and disputes pertaining to the said saving. For many people in the town did everything in their power to prevent the award being given to Veracruz, but another time that can be explained. The tables were set and the speeches had been made. It was eating time, but eat they did not. Only Nick Houlihan ate. In fact, he ate so much there was none left for the rest of the guests. He was found at the great Christmas table, plump and asleep. An angry sigh permeated through the crowd. Kevin, furious at the spectacle, vowed to never allow Nick to marry his daughter, Sarah Finderfine Veracombe. Over time, the public, as happens so oft, had swayed its view of Houlihan and decided it too cruel to allow the two not to be married. Kevin was not persuaded, though. He still vowed that he would never allow Houlihan to marry his firstborn. Now, before we move any further, it is important to consider the Veracruz children's opinion on the matter. The second eldest, Molly Vericombe, was too busy chasing after wild geese by the Densmore Lake. When asked why she did not care for such things as the marriage of her elder sister, she responded simply with,
Why not chase geese?
"Oh, and one cannot forget Lauren." Oh, Lauren had her convictions, all right, but they were rooted in strict mathematical theory and axioms. They couldn't be understood by the other children or her parents, for that matter. She simply responded to the situation with,
Building Hein, write the equation for love. 3g minus 0.5, s1 minus s2, 2 minus 1 plus 1.5c, so eloquently for nothing?
This was responded to with much speculation, but was ultimately agreed with as reasonable, though many did not understand. The Varicose boys simply left Krugs and Bullythwax to eldest daughters and parents of the family. They much preferred the study of the Great Schism, of which they created their own interpretation and critical analysis, published in the town Pumpamahayan Tribune, which received much controversy due to the inclusion of the word klamos. In any case, the family, and henceforth the town, had created their own wide-ranging opinions and speculations on the matter. Crazy! This drives me crazy! Gavin exclaimed. He went to the center of the town, shouted and screeched, calling townsmen from all walks of life to consider his appeal.
We all know what Nicholas did in 1907.
Gavin sneered sinisterly.
He did not merely gobble up our food. He feasted on our town's Christmas spirit, feasted on our customs and sacred analects. You remember it, and you remember it, and even you remember it. All of you remember it.
I don't remember.
Of course you don't remember, you ridiculous old blighter. I'll destroy you. I'll destroy this whole town before I allow Sweetheart, what on earth are you doing here?
Norma spoke.
If a man chooses what is good for his own, and yet another finds this to be pleasing proposition to join, who to say we are to place the self in the midst of exterior connection? I say we are not to be, and so they must be, especially on one such beautiful Christmas as this.
Kevin looked out on the town, and a tear came down his face as he muttered to himself. Then a roar, that of a lion, rang through his lungs, and he exclaimed for all the world to hear,
My daughter's getting married tonight. Who am I to decide why? When one chooses to love another, it is beyond that of reason. It is eternal.